Jai Hind and welcome to your own YouTube channel, Teacher with Wings. I know that all my students are missing the school, and trust me, even I am missing it as well. But I am aware that my students are really very smart. They know that by staying at home, they are helping themselves, their friends and family members, and also their nation. So far as the magic is concerned, let's do it here. Let's do it on this virtual platform. So, bringing the same amount of energy, enthusiasm, and magic which you all are missing, I am back one more time. Today, I'm going to teach you the chapter which is there in your English books, The Wrong House. So, let's get started. The Wrong House by James N. Young. Two men ran quietly towards the house. One of them had a suitcase and the other had a bunch of keys in hand. Well, according to my creativity, they would be looking somewhat like the two men whom you can see on your screens. One with a bag cum suitcase and the other one having a bunch of keys. Look at his face. Isn't he looking super scared and super funny? Let's begin. The night was dark and silent. They silently walked towards this house that looked empty. One of them tried to open the door. Now you must be thinking that how did that person try to open the door? Obviously, as I told you just before this, they had a bunch of keys and they tried to open the door by using the keys which were available with them. The thieves were lucky that they accidentally got the right key. That opened the door and they saw that the house was empty, the furniture all covered. They were sure that this time they are in the right house, and this indeed was their best hideout. Now, by far, according to the behavior which two of them are showing, you must have already got an idea that they were not sober people. There was something fishy. Else, why would someone try to sneak into someone's house without taking his or her permission? Or, for opening somebody's door, why would someone use a bunch of keys and try which one fits in? Let's find out what exactly was fishy with these two men. Seeing such a deserted room made them 100% sure on the fact that the family is away. This is the best place for them to hide for that night. The word over here, deserted, is used to reflect or talk about the empty room where these two men decided to take the refuge for that night. Hasty Hoggins and Blackie Burns. Yes, that's what their names were. They had their luck failed them just once in the past 10 days. It was after their big robbery that they successfully did it in that town which was on the coast. So maybe in your exams or your class assessment test, you might get a question that what were the names of these two men? What would you answer? The answer would be Hasty Hoggins and Blackie Burns. Over here, it says that their luck had failed them just once in the past 10 days. That means, although this time they became lucky because they got the keys so easily, but this wasn't the case with them 10 days ago. Because 10 days ago, their luck failed them. That means something wrong happened in their plan to execute this perfect robbery. Let's find out what it was. Now they were in this strange town without a car, but with a suitcase that was having $300,000 in it. Blackie was driving the car when he accidentally ran over a policeman. As they had no other option left, they abandoned the car and ran for their lives. Now, you might also get a short question that what was the amount which these two men were carrying? The answer to that would be $300,000. You might also get a question that why were these two men supposed to abandon the car? But before that, I would like to explain you what is the meaning of abandon. The word abandon means to leave something. The two men over here, who by far we already are aware were thieves. and these two thieves had to abandon their cars because they ran over a policeman in the previous town while running away after the robbery. What does ran over means? Ran over means hitting someone accidentally and leaving the person unattended and running away from there. Let's see what happens after that. Hoggins and Blackie knew that they need a car, and after the last accident, they also knew that they can't steal one. After a long discussion, they decided that they would be buying a car so that they could run away from that town safely. Again, there are a lot of questions which can be made from this paragraph as well. Like, why do you think the two men decided to buy a new car? Why didn't they try stealing another car? What was their plan to run away from the next town? So many questions, but the answers are straight and simple. Because they were already in trouble after hitting the policeman and running away from the site, they knew that the police is now looking for them. And since the police was looking for them, they couldn't afford to take or steal someone else's car. Having no way out, they had to buy a car. Did they buy a car? Well, let's read out and find out. But they were also so scared to leave their suitcase that was full of money. So they decided to hide that suitcase full of money in the coal cellar and buried it in the pile of coal. Obviously, all this trouble was just to save the money. Then, even if they have to run for their lives, do you really think that they would be mentally prepared to let the money go away? Obviously not. So what they decided was they would be hiding this money, the entire suitcase that was having this $300,000 in the coal cellar, and then only they would leave. Just before the dawn, the two of them left the house. Hogan remarked that the house in which they were hiding was of Mr. Samuel W. Roger. Again, from here there can be small questions or short questions as well as long questions. Example, one short question can be, what was the name of the owner of the house? The answer is short and simple. It was Samuel W. Roger. If you would also go for a long question from here, you might get something like, why didn't they notice the name of the owner the night they entered into the house? There are so many obvious reasons. They were in a hurry, they were scared, it was dark, they didn't really get time to see the name, they were so tired, and so many more answers you can get. At this point of time, I would always suggest that it's a great idea to make your answers good enough to be enough for the marks that the question is containing. If the question is of 3 marks, it's a great idea to mention at least 3 to 4 points. And in the similar way, you can make your decision as well. Let's go ahead. Look at these happy faces. Why were they happy? Obviously, because shortly after the automobile showroom opened, Hasty Hoggins and Blackie Burns, they both had their new car. The brand new car in which they decided that they would be running away after taking their money from that house. Imagine a situation. The car is ready, the exit plan is ready, the money is also safe. So what better could it be? They were all excited to go back to the room and find out and take their bag again. But there's a twist. To their surprise, when they were coming back to the same house, they saw that the windows were open and the family that was out probably for a vacation was back. You must be doing it in your real life as well, right? Whenever we go out for vacations for 2 or 3 days, what we do is we close all the windows and the doors so that the dust does not enter in the house. And the first thing which most of us do, in fact I would say all of us do after getting back from a vacation or maybe from a short trip or something, is to open the doors and windows so that enough of ventilation can come. By seeing the doors and windows opened in this house as well, Blackie, Burns and Hasty Hoggins knew that there is a twist over here. The family must be back. And absolutely that is what happened. Now the two thieves were scared, but Hoggins quickly thought of a plan. Quick, let's find a phone. this point of time, they had two options. Number one, either to just run away and save their life, and number two, to still think of another plan to get the money back. Hasty Hoggins were not at all in the mood to run for his life. He decided that he is going to do something by which he can get the money out of the house. Let's see what he did. 10 minutes later, Hoggins was consulting a telephone directory. Now, some of you must be thinking, what is a telephone directory? Ma'am didn't tell me. So, a telephone directory is basically a book that has a record of all the addresses and the phone numbers of a people living in a certain locality. Now you would also ask that why aren't we doing it in phones? In the phones, in our mobile phones, we can record everything. Why to have a directory? The point is, the time when the story was written, at that point of time, mobile was not invented. So probably that's the reason all the details were saved in the telephone directory. And just after a short investigation of 10 minutes, the two thieves here had the contact details of Samuel Roger. Let's see what they would do after that. Hoggins acted very smartly, and while speaking to Samuel, he said, "Hello, I am Simpson, Sergeant Simpson from the Detective Division." Yes, came the voice from the other side. Hoggins said that the chief of the police had asked him to get in touch with Samuel, who apparently was the owner of this house, and asked him to see him at his home in some time. He definitely thought that in this way he would be able to fool Samuel and get the bag full of money out of the coal cellar where he had hidden it last night. Even Samuel didn't show any sign of suspicious things. He asked him if there was any trouble for him or not. Now just imagine, Samuel could have directly at that point of time itself revealed his real identity. But did he do that? Obviously not, because he wanted to see that what are these two people up to, and somewhere down the line he knew that there is something which they are hiding. Very smartly he said that, "Is there any trouble? Am I in any trouble? Please tell me if I have to take care of anything." The story at this point took a turn. On one hand, the thieves thought that they have successfully fooled Samuel, and on the other, Samuel behaved in such a way as if he is actually spoken to some real police officials. What next was destined to happen, neither of the two parties had a clue of. So let's read out and find that. Hoggins was all set to march towards the house, and on the way he explained his plan to his partner in crime, Burns. As per the plan, the two of them decided to present themselves as the two officers from the police headquarters. They instantly picked up their new names, Sergeant Simpson and Detective Johnson. Wasn't that a perfect plan? Now over here, if I'll ask you that do you really think that Hasty Hoggins and Blackie Burns were the real name of these two people? Then I don't think that all of you would agree. Because had that been the case, it would have been very difficult for these two people to take up another name and another identity within a few minutes. That just happened over here. Now these two thieves who were just planning to get the bag out of the coal cellar and run for their lives are now presenting themselves as Sergeant Simpson and Detective Johnson. Samuel Roger was standing on his door. He was a short-heighted and he looked badly worried and frightened. Ha ha ha! Was that a real fear? It's just a part of his plan. Let's find out. The two thieves who were acting as the fake detectives in a very official manner said that they are on a run to catch all the thieves in the town. Imagine a thief saying that he himself is on a run to find out the other thieves in the town. That sounds funny, but by far it looks like a perfect plan. They got the news that some of the robbers who are on the run now have hidden a suitcase full of money in your living room. Samuel didn't drop any hint, even till that moment. Just like an innocent man, he escorted the two thieves to his living room. Now, you must be thinking that ma'am didn't tell me what is the meaning of escorted. Well, the meaning of the word escorted is guided or showed the way to someone. Over here, the two fake detectives are very confident that within a few minutes they're gonna go to the coal cellar and get the bag and run from there. On the other hand, the real hero by far, Samuel W. Roger, is very silently looking at what exactly are the two planning to do. In no time, the bag that was hidden in the coal cellar was out, and the best part was it had all the money. That was a moment of ultimate happiness for Burns and Hoggins. They lifted the suitcase full of money and were all set to leave from there. But just then, Samuel said, "Come on, boys." And just then, 3 policemen entered in the house. Do you really think that it was a perfect plan anymore? Well, I don't really think so. "What does this mean, Mr. Roger?" asked Hoggins. "It's quite simple, Mr. Chief, if I am the chief of the police." And this is how the foolishness of Hoggins got the two of them caught. And that's how the story also comes to an end. There are definitely a lot of things for you to learn from the story. But there is one thing which I would like to mention over here. Sometimes greed is the one thing that can push us into a lot of danger. That was it from the first class from my side. I really hope that you would have definitely enjoyed the class and understood what exactly the chapter is all about. Comment below and tell me that what was your favorite part about the chapter, and also tell me that what are the things you are missing about the school during this COVID time period. I'll be back with all of you once again very soon. Until then, stay home, stay safe and stay calm.